All right, here we go. OverDrive off and running. TSN 1050 on the TSN app. Your home smart speaker up on YouTube Live on TSN's YouTube channel. It's a Sunday morning. Morning. First time we've ever done this. 9:45 a.m. Eastern time. But I think it's fitting. If we're going to come up and do a reaction show, it's got to be based on what happened last night.
Guys, I feel somewhat responsible. I feel like an idiot, and I just saw an awful tweet before we came up here, and it said, Toronto sports is for people that hate themselves. And that's a tough one to read, but I feel awful. I got ahead of myself, and I was discussing handing out the trophy, and I think that was completely inappropriate. And I hate myself for doing that. I shouldn't have done it. If I was from Los Angeles and I was watching that, I would have said, what a jerk that guy is. Why is he getting so far ahead of himself? And now I completely regret it. And I don't know about you guys. I'm having a tough time. I slept very well last night, win or lose. I don't take Toronto sports home with me, to bed with me, whatever. But I can't get into that. Was a great display of baseball. That was one of the best World Series ever. Man, that really stings for those Blue Jays guys, because you wonder what the sustainability is. Like, I don't think they're just an automatic guarantee to be back there anytime soon. So it's a really difficult loss.
That's it. You got to reset, right?
Yeah. Totally reset.
You're back at the starting line.
Brian, you were there. I mean, take us through it. I mean, like I say, I watched it. We all watched it, but you're in the building. Like, what, walk us through the mood, walk us through everything.
I think I have to start before the game even started. So I actually, in anticipation of them winning or losing, and understanding I wasn't going to get out of there for hours after, the final pitch, whether the Jays won or the Dodgers won, which was accurate. Dodgers won. I was there for about 2.5 hours, after the final pitch. I parked at my Maple Leaf spot. I was across the city, and I did that for a couple of different reasons. One, I didn't want to be parked anywhere close to the Rogers Center, thinking if they win, there's going to be 1 million people down here. I'm never going to get out.
Did you cab it to the Rogers?
No, I didn't. So this was another reason why, is because I actually wanted to take in the city before first pitch. So I probably parked my car 45 minutes before the game. I guess it was 7:20, something like that. And I walked from basically the Esplanade all the way to the Rogers Center. It's about a 20-minute walk past Union, down front. I've never felt like more electricity in my life downtown. I couldn't get enough of it. It was intoxicating. It was incredible. Everyone was in Jays gear. Everyone had a place to go. Those that didn't were scrambling, and I was people watching and eavesdropping because you're hearing people say, well, maybe we got to go here. I don't think we can get in there, and this place is full. And I'm walking down front. Every bar had a lineup of what seemed like 50 to 100 people. Boston Pizza on front, there were at least 100 people. And I'm thinking to myself, how are you getting in? Yeah. No one's leaving now.
Dude, there was places with 100-person lineup 5 hours before first pitch.
Right. I'm talking cafes where people are lining up to get in. If you had a TV on and you were serving drinks last night, you had people at your door knocking. So walking into the stadium, it was incredible. It was incredible. And you got in there. The anthems were great. The place was packed. I probably walked in 15 minutes before first pitch, 20 minutes, and there was no one outside the dome waiting to get in, which that's such a rarity. You guys know what it's like. You go to a game, there's lineups, through the first inning, people are still trying to get in. No one was waiting to get in. Everyone was in the building.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Hayes. I don't think anybody sat last night either. I talked about Canadians not standing. They stood the whole game.
The whole game. So you get in there, the anthems are going crazy. Scherzer comes out, and then just the build-up. And the game itself was incredible, just like the series was. There were so many things that happened during the game. Like the bench is clear.
That was insane.
The bullpens are running in Game 7 of the World Series.
I know. Like, what if the umps decided we're going to toss some people here, and it could have been critical people too, like that. The bench is clear. Was that the third inning? Was it third?
No, it was later than that because the bullpen was in for the Dodgers. I don't remember the inning. It was after the Bichette home run.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Crazy. And John Schneider came out flying, dude. That's a foxhole guy.
Over the 9-hitter getting hit.
Jimenez gets hit.
Yeah.
And he was in a 3-point stance, like ready to barrel over Dave Roberts or whoever else was going to get in his way. But, it's an interesting mentality because you're onto something there, O. You know, I had my commentary post-game last night. We're going to talk about it today. The truth is we're never going to forget this. This is a sports reference for the rest of your life. You know, people are still referencing Kerry Fraser from 32 years ago. That was in the semifinal. Like, this is Game 7 World Series. This will never be forgotten. But, you know, some people are saying, I can't believe it. Woe is me. It's awful. I'll never get over it. And then the other mentality is, well, it was a great ride. And it's a testament to how many different viewpoints there are out there. You know, that some people think it should just be pat everyone on the back. Others, you got to break down what happened. I think in the end, the Dodgers are a great team. They're a championship team. Like, the Dodgers are a great team. They have their backs up against the wall, man.
Dude, if you think about all the things that they did, like the timely homers last night, the catch out in left center. Like
Dave Roberts putting in Podges to make that catch in center. Like, that was a wily move, man. Like, he put him
almost killed Kike Hernandez.
Yeah,
but had to make the play.
But that alone, because I kept thinking Clement, like, there's our guy. Like, that's he's going to single or it's going to be a sack. You know, like it'll bounce and they're in. That's it. It's a walk off. But it was like the subtle little moves. And then again, let's be honest, Yamamoto. Like, back-to-back, that's ridiculous.
That's the story of the series. I mean, obviously he won the MVP. And there was no debate. I mean, Yoshi Yamamoto won Game 2, 6, and 7. And he's a starting pitcher, and all three of them were at the Rogers Center. He won 3 games in the World Series on the road. And we did our post-game hit, Hedge, Keegan, and I, after Game 6. And I said, well, at least you don't have to worry about that guy again. You know, like, oh, well, at least he's out of the series. So, you know, if you're the Jays, you're thinking this is great. You know, you're going to get to Otani and Glasnow will come out and Snell might come out, but
dude,
you feel good.
I disagree with you. I thought he was going to start yesterday. That's how scared I was of that guy. He's a freak, man. I'm telling you.
I know. I didn't think he had that in him. I mean,
dude,
I didn't think anyone could do what he did last night.
4 more innings. Like, if it went 4 more, he just would have kept nodding to Dave Roberts and said, don't even think about pulling me out of this game.
He's an animal. He was an animal.
He's a machine.
He's an absolute machine. And you got to give credit where it's due. You know, like the Dodgers paid him. It wasn't like they drafted and developed them, but they paid him, and he's shown up for them, and he was phenomenal. But, you know, for me, it is about heartbreak. Like, these guys have already established themselves as, you know, a beloved team. They worked their asses off all year. They shocked the world. I know Schneider was, you know, offended by the David versus Goliath, but that was about the expectation and the hype. Not about the actual individual players. You know, the Dodgers are the Dodgers. They spend more money. They win all the time. They're L.A. It's Showtime. It's Hollywood. The Jays had 74 wins last year.
No kidding.
You know, and that's what David and Goliath was.
It was about the expectations before the season, and no one, not even before the season, the first month of the season, I don't think anybody had any expectation for the Jays where you're like, they might be able to do something, they might not. And it kind of goes back to one of my big picture thoughts on sports, guys, when it comes down to getting it done, because I lived it. And it seems like it always happens. It's like the Cinderella, man. They get there and they make people fall in love with it, but it seems like they don't get it done at the end a lot of the times. Like, if you can give me some examples of them getting it done, give it to me. It just doesn't seem like it happens.
But this one was so much different than the usual ones. Like, not. I'm not goofing on you. I agree with you, but you guys lost in 5, right? No 2.
Right. Yes.
The Jays had a 3-2 lead coming home.
And not only that, it seemed like they were playing better.
Yes.
Like they were doing better
yes.
things more often.
They were like the Dodgers. They I think their average in the series was like 203. The run differential favored the Jays. Ironically, I'm sure Mike O'Kay is probably stunned by that. But remember, that was the big Mike O'Kay thing. Wow, look at the run differential. This isn't truly a team that can win the American League East.
Right.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But the Jays played very well, and I think they outperformed the Dodgers, but that doesn't get you a banner. It doesn't make a difference. The LA Dodgers won the game. The Dodgers are World Series champs.
Now, what I did take away last night, I felt watching the post game. Obviously, Hayes, I watched you. I watched some of the interviews. I felt bad. Like Clement was crying. Like did the Jays find themselves some players? Like can they sign Clement? They found Barger? Like moving forward, they've got some players in place. I kept thinking, okay, they've got some players here that have shown up. Savage is just on the scene, that type of stuff. But I also thought, is Bo out of here? Like, that's what scared me.
Possibly. And that's what sucked about last night. Like, when he hit that home run, having been there for the Springer home run in Game 7,
that's Carter,
the big home
Carter
runs.
moment.
Exactly. Like, it's not the exact equivalent because it's the third inning, and you always kind of knew the Dodgers were going to chip away to an extent and make it difficult. But, they walk Vladdy. He comes up. In the previous inning, watching Bichette run the bases,
he was wincing.
Yeah, anyone else on base, they're up 1-0 after 2 innings. Anyone else, but he couldn't do it. He couldn't run. He couldn't move.
Yeah.
And it was very similar to the Bautista home run in the manner of the second it hit his bat, the millisecond it hit his bat, it was gone.
He
knew. He knew it, and the whole place knew it. Like, you talk about a pop, like a wrestling pop. It was like Stone Cold's music just hit. When that thing left his bat, that place went crazy. And it's 3-0, and it's off the bat of Bichette, and you're thinking that, like, what if he's done? What if they move on or he moves on, and ultimately now it's business. Like, there's emotion and there's ties, and it's business time. And that's going to be on Shapiro and Atkins to figure out where they want to spend and how they want to spend and how they want to build, and it's going to be on Bichette to negotiate a deal. I'm sure he does want to stay, but he's also a pro.
He said all the right things. He was like, I've always wanted to be here, but I don't know. That's going to be secondary to the pain that those guys are going to feel. Like just to get that close and have so many opportunities, and you just think of like how small the margins are. Like IKF sliding into home plate. Like if it was just.
I know the shoe came up, and
I was just like, I wanted a little bit more oomph on that run home, a little bit more of a lead. But he even said they didn't want us getting doubled off. They didn't want that lead to be big, but it just seemed. I don't know why he was sliding to begin with.
You know what's wild about that, If Barger doesn't get doubled off the night before, they're not nearly as nervous. They're not nearly as
not
nervous.
Even talking about it.
They're not. They're probably telling him, get a lead. Let's be aggressive here. Let's go win this thing right now. Like, if you get, not that you'd ever want to get doubled off, like, those are fundamentals. You got to be careful. But I think they were so gun shy because of what happened the night before. They went over the top,
probably
with their conservative nature.
Safety,
and as a result, he couldn't make it.
Let me ask you guys this: when we always look back and go TSN turning points, like the ball getting stuck under the fence, we've never seen that before. You know what I mean? Like,
but it's still second and third, no outs, though.
I get it.
That's not why they lost the World Series.
No, I'm not. But I'm saying the TSN turning points, things that stick out for me. That Barger getting picked, the home plate, like they've got bases loaded.
Yeah.
And
bases
they can't
loaded,
get one
bottom
up
of the
across,
ninth.
and you can't walk it off. Like something like obviously the Pages catch. Like there's so many different things within that series that stand out, but in the negative way, like the Barger getting picked, that might be the one I would circle.
Well, that's what I think again makes it particularly painful if you're a Blue Jay fan, is that they had multiple opportunities, and in Game 6, they're right there, ready to pounce and win that game. You've got second and third, nobody out, and it's. Whether you think Dean could have played it or not, he immediately threw his hands up, and generally that's going to go the direction of the defending team. the ball's lodged, so be it. Clement, unfortunately, he was so phenomenal. He swings at a pitch up and in from Glasnow that he regrets, I'm sure. I'm sure he's going to go into the offseason saying, why did I swing at that? Like, the place is going crazy. They got him on the ropes, and he immediately hands him effectively a free out. And then Barger, makes a massive base running mistake. There's no other way to put it. Overly aggressive. Right. And then the next night, it's a lack of aggression where you miss it by an inch, like an inch. And and even in the bottom of the 11th, Vladdy's on third base with one out. He's right there to at least tie the game and push it to 12 innings.
Dude, no kidding. Like, he hits a double to start the inning, and it's like, okay, like this is tie ball game at least, at minimum.
And with the ebbs and flows of the whole series, that felt almost predictable. Like, of course they're going to come back and score again. Like, credit to Will Smith for hitting a home run, but obviously the Blue Jays are going to tie this.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, the whole series, what you can appreciate just as a sports fan was the theater. Like, it just had everything. Like,
well, what about, we haven't even talked about Rojas. I don't think the guy's hit a home run, and I don't know when his last one was, but for that guy to hit that home run is insano.
That's tough, though. The giving up the singular home runs, you know what I mean? Like Bieber, that's...
Well, and you Savage, too, right? That's being lost in the shuffle.
Muncy,
but
man.
Muncy got him, and you thought, okay, he's out. It's all good. Bring in Hoffman for 4 outs.
Yeah.
If you give Hoffman maybe a 2-run lead, it's different. But he didn't. And listen, the Jeff Hoffman experience was always going to be a psychedelic ride, man. Yeah. It was always going to be a psychedelic roller coaster.
It was him against his home run problems. Were they ever going to creep up again?
Yeah.
Like, could he avoid giving up a homer? And it looked like smooth sailing. It looked like he was dialed in throughout the playoffs, and then he gave up a damn homer.
It's so unfortunate because he really had redeemed himself. He was so good in September, really good in October. Great to close out the series against Seattle. Remember Game 6? He got them 6 outs.
Yeah.
And then Game 7, he got them the final 3 outs. And as you pointed out, it's almost like it was a trap at bat. Like, Otani's on deck, and you're thinking, Rojas, move.
Yeah,
get out of the way so I can figure out what I'm doing to this guy. And Miguel Rojas, of all people, hits the biggest home run of the season until 2 innings later, Will Smith tops him. Yeah. And it just, watching that was, it was crazy. Like, it was a crazy experience. I feel very fortunate that I was down there for the whole ride, and that's what sucks about today. Now, it's going to end anyway. If they win or lose, there's no more games. That was going to be the end. But the shared experience that everyone had, for the last 5 weeks, 6 weeks really, because even the last week of the regular season was a playoff race. They were chasing that top seed in the American League East. It's been a 6-week, binge of on your edge baseball. It's been incredible.
There's no question of how awesome it is, Hayes. The only thing about it is when you don't win, it fades so fast. Like, it just disappears to – remember that run? That was a great run. Like, it's just it's crazy how amazing it was for people, bar owners, everybody that got together and kind of got united and galvanized the whole city and country, but it's amazing how quick it disappears when you don't win. It just became like a moment in time where it was like, man, that was a ton of fun. And I hate it for people. Like I said, I don't really care who wins and loses, but I watched that, like, Will Smith hit that homer, and I literally said to myself, I cannot believe I'm watching this right now.
Well, I felt the same way. You know why it disappears, though? Because there's no parade. There's no, if they won last night, this would go on for weeks.
No kidding. There's no parade, Jamie. There's no World Series championship hat. There's no World Championship hoodie.
That's what it is. That's what it is, because you're right. The next phase, if they won last night, the next phase starts, right, is the hats. Hey, you got to go. We're going to the parade. What are we doing? There's a watch party for the parade. It'll keep going for weeks. Now this will slowly fade out in the next week as these guys – this isn't hockey where there's year-end meetings in 3 or 4 days.
Oh, they're gone.
These guys are gone today, if not tomorrow. A lot of them, and you won't hear from them. That's the difference between baseball and other sports too, right, Brian?
You're right. And the guys who are free agents and not coming back, that's it. You're gone. And I had an experience. I was walking out I don't know what time it was, probably around 2 a.m. or something. The clocks going back have just completely thrown me off. It's like completely jammed me. I have no idea what time or day it is right now. But I was walking out, and Chris Bassett was walking out. And he and I were in the elevator together to go back up. And all I'm thinking to myself is, like, shut up and look forward. You know, like, don't even think about looking at this guy.
Dude, if you had a tossed out of that was a tough one, I would have strangled you myself.
I had that out-of-body experience where I'm like,
did it cross your mind just put your hand on the shoulder and say, tough one, man? Like, or say something stupid?
No.
That's what happens. People get around celebrities or sports people, and they think they have to say something, and they ultimately say something stupid. It's like being at a funeral.
Exactly.
They just blurt something out, and it's stupid.
And it's innocent because you can feel the air.
Yeah.
Like I could feel it. He was so dejected. And, you know, he's a free agent. That could be it for him in Toronto. And I'm in the elevator, and I'm saying that to myself. I'm like, just look forward and shut up. Like, just look forward and shut up. Don't say a word to this guy. And, you know, he walked by one of his teammates who was going the other way. And there wasn't an interaction, which was kind of funny. And then he saw, I think it was Jimenez on the way out, and they embraced and hugged, and you could tell they were, you know, it was tough. Like, there were just players kind of scattered all over the place. Yeah. And then he walks out the building, and there's still fans there because they know where the players come out. You know, and they gave him a big round of applause, and he went, you know, he kind of fist bumped. I thought that was really cool. And I went the other way. He went the other way. But just the feeling, like, that was 2.5 hours after the last pitch, I think, something like that. And there's still players, you know, walking out, and just it was so heavy, the air. You know, it was so heavy.
Imagine the emptiness.
And then the other side of it, I'm on the field, which I always find funny. Like, I'm posting stuff on Instagram. Blue Jay fans are like, screw you. No one wants to see that. I'm like, what do you want me to do, man?
The Otani
like,
video.
I get it. The Dodgers won, but do you want me to pretend like they didn't? I didn't play the game. You know, like, people are going nuts. They're like, take that picture down of Otani. I'm like, all right, sorry. Like, apologies.
Take the picture down of Otani.
People are going crazy.
Yeah.
And I get it. Everyone's sensitive right now. But it was the most kind of amazing experience where the Dodgers have the celebration and they're all kind of going different places. Kershaw's walking around with the definition of a dad bod. Like, he had no shirt on. His body is hilarious walking around. He's like me with no shirt. That's what he looks like. He's like my age. He's got kids. Yeah, he's just cruising around with no tarp on. But I'm standing 10 feet away from Mookie Betts, his wife, and I think a few family members. And he is laying down as if he's having a picnic at Christie Pitts and just talking and not – and I'm like, there's a guy who's won 4 World Series. And it's actually not even – like, he's excited.
He's business as usual.
But I couldn't take my eyes off the interaction where he's just sitting there laying down on the field, and he and his wife are talking. Another guy comes over, shows him a picture. They laugh a little bit. They're talking. I can hear them, and they're talking about, you know, when we're going to get out of here. And I'm like, this guy just won the World Series. No champagne, no beer, no one in the background going crazy, just laying there like having a picnic on the Rogers Center field. And I'm like, that's a guy who has won 4 World Series.
Been there, done that.
He makes $300. He's got $300 million. And it's just, that's the way it goes if you're an LA Dodger. I was in awe of it. It was like an incredible experience. But, the whole scene was something. And, like, Shohei Otani, the media down there. And what was also weird was, having been down there for game 1, 2, 6, and 7, I didn't see a lot of Dodger fans. Like, I saw very few.
I didn't either, man.
Yeah.
It's compared to what was in L.A. as far as Jays fans?
Exactly. Tons of Jays fans. And when the Yankees were here, I saw a fair amount of Yankee fans. You know, like, not a ton, but you could tell they were here. You know, whether they're from Toronto or came up across the border or even up from New York. I saw 8 to 10 Dodger fans over the course of the 4 games. And then all of a sudden, they're all there celebrating. There was like 1,000, 1,500 Dodger fans. And I'm thinking, where did these people come from?
Yeah, well, they were probably all in suites and stuff. A lot of family members. They're tucked away in different places.
Yeah.
Because I saw the same thing. It's like all these people were crawling out of the stands.
Yeah.
It's like, where the hell were you? It's
Did
all
they
family
go up to the
and stuff.
street and grab people and throw them in Dodgers gear?
Do you think they were incognito? What I mean by that is sometimes you go to a hostile building. Not saying the Rogers Center would be hostile, but even if I was a fan of the other team, I don't know if I would be jersey guy or I'd have a coat over top of it or something. And their colors kind of match.
Yeah, that's true.
So I was like,
true.
I was thinking about that last night. You're right. Like they would pan the crowd, and it was Blue Jays pandemonium. And then there would be like a Dodgers fan. Like you could tell the director would be trying to find, after a home run, they'd be trying to find a Dodgers fan or something, and they'd go to it. But the colors kind of match, and I also think if I'm in a hostile environment, like Jays fans didn't care in L.A. Like I didn't see that as a hostile environment. Everyone there is too cool, and it's that Hollywood, mentality. Where here, I think people would, take offense. They would be a little bit more pissed to be like, not fights or anything like that, but more like, hey,
more edgy a little bit.
Edgy, that's I guess, but
you're
I just
trying to
didn't
win.
notice it. Yeah.
The Dodgers, they're somewhat immune to it all because they've won so much. This is their third World Series in I think 6 years, and they've been to the World Series 5 of the last 10. They basically go there every year, and like we're looking at, FanDuel's already got the future odds for next season, and sure enough, the Dodgers are a heavy favorite. Like on FanDuel for the 2026 World Series, the Dodgers are plus 350.
Where's the Jays fall in that?
The Jays are
10th, aren't they?
Plus 200. Yeah, they're, I believe, 10th or 11th on the list.
Yeah.
Tied with the Padres and the Braves in terms of odds. And I think that's appropriate because the Jays, now they got to reset. They got to prove they can do it again.
That's why you got to cash when you have one of those magical runs. Like, you got to make it cash.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's it. It was right there for you. It was right there for you. It's a new experience because when you think Leafs, Jays, Raptors, 92-93, the only times prior to this year the Jays have been in the World Series, they won both.
Yeah.
The only time the Raptors have been in the NBA Finals, 19, they won it. This is different. Like everyone's trying to compare it to losing in the first round or the second round. This is different. Like this is the championship series.
Yeah.
And it's never really been experienced. And I think it's heartbreak and more so than anything else that I can recall. Like, unfortunately, I think it goes to the top of the list. I think it surpasses everything else.
No kidding, especially because they didn't get their ass handed to them. It was like they were the better team doing better things, better hitting, better everything, and they didn't close the deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
You're right. If they get pumped and swept or losing 5, you're like, all right, hey, it was awesome.
It was fun. Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah.
You're probably right. That's really ultimately what makes it sting the most if you're a Blue Jay fan is you really believed. You really believed, and you deserve to believe. We were talking about it on Friday, and yes, we got a little ahead of ourselves, but
Before the horse,
I genuinely thought they were going to win. Like I was not putting it on. I genuinely thought they were going to win the World Series. I thought they deserved to be favored, which they were after Game 5. They were favored to win the World Series at that point, naturally. And I really thought they were going to get it done. And even the last 2 games, they lost by a thread. Like they had the Dodgers in both games. And ultimately it's all for naught because the Dodgers are World Series champs.
It is. And the other thing, too, is it sent a ripple effect like through the country. Like this isn't, singular sport. Like if you're looking at like the Oilers have done that twice in a row. But people are like, oh, I'm not an Oilers fan. This is, the Blue Jays were Canada's team. Like people, regardless of their affiliation with any NHL team or any other sport, it was like everybody rallied around the Jays. And you could feel it like, McDavid gets interviewed afterwards. He's gutted. He's like, they won. He doesn't care. He's like, God, I felt so bad. Like it galvanized everybody, like regardless. And the other thing, too, is if you're a casual fan, which a lot of people that I know were just casual fans, they were invested. That's the other thing. The diehards will always be there, but the casual fan, the city and the country grabbed them. Like it was, you could really feel it. Like just
easy
the outside.
to do, right? Easy to do because they were a likable team. They were clutch. Like that's really the ingredient that puts you over the top when you're clutch. Yeah. And unfortunately,
they were, man.
Yeah, and the clutch, it didn't. I guess it expired. That clutch gene. It expired in Game 7 at the end of the game.
They had what was it? Didn't they have like 58 or something come from behind wins this year? Mm-hmm. And this was the one they fell short. Like that's the crazy thing too.
Yeah, it really does. And when the dust settles, you wonder what they're going to do in the future. How do you use this as a sales pitch? It's definitely better than 74 wins. It's a lot better than 74 wins. Now you're pitching. Vladdy's here for a long time. Trey Savage is here. You've got a framework of a team that's very good. So it makes their lives easier. I think Toronto as a city was put under the spotlight. I think the fan base was put under the spotlight.
I know, but Hayes, all those things you just mentioned, like Savage and Vladdy and who knows what happens with Bo, is it going to translate into this again? That's the big question mark. And that's what we talked about, having to cash in. Like it's just all it's going to be is question marks. You see teams get to the World Series all the times, the Stanley Cup Final all the times, but then they just disappear into the wind, man.
Well,
you don't hear from them for a long time. So that's the key for the Jays. Can they convince people or actually pull it off that this is something to build on, that where they can be back here? I don't know. I don't know when it would be, but soon.
But Brian, where I think you're going, does this make a free agent want to come now to Toronto? Does it give him more of a window? As like, okay, you've got your Savage, you've got Vladdy, maybe they get Bo done, but somebody that maybe not the Otani type of situation, but somebody that may have thought differently about Toronto, watch this and goes, they got something nice there. I like that organization, like the city. Like, do they get a marquee free agent because of this run?
That would be the hope. If this doesn't do it, then nothing's ever going to do it.
Nothing will. Yeah.
Like ultimately, it's a perfect test. If we get to the winter meetings and they're kicking tires on Kyle Tucker, and they offered him the same thing that another team offered, and he goes somewhere else, then I guess that'll be the answer. It may still be the answer that it doesn't really matter. And that's what made this so magical, to your point, is that everything connected. Everyone, for the most part, had a career season. Even you look at October, like Vladdy was perfect. The defensive plays he was making last night were crazy.
Outrageous.
Like crazy how good he was. And what happens with George Springer next year? He just had arguably the greatest year of his career at 36.
Yeah. Does Ernie Clement just turn into a guy? He just set a record for most hits in the playoffs.
I know.
Right. Exactly.
Like, is he just a guy next year?
And if Scherzer leaves and Bieber leaves and Bassett leaves, what do you do with your rotation? You got to find multiple arms, and that's the question. That's what makes it difficult, is that a lot, like internal improvement popped, and everything came together, and they were clutch, and they were the best hitting team in baseball, and they were great playing at home, and their bullpen patched together at the right time. But can you guarantee that next year? Of course not.
No, but how much goodwill did, Shapiro and Atkins just buy themselves?
Well, a fair amount. I mean, you get to Game 7 of a World Series.
But it was a year ago.
And John Schneider, for that matter.
And
Schneider. Although there's still people that, like, they lose in extra innings of Game 7, and it's Schneider's fault. He pulled Scherzer too early. Shouldn't have gone to this guy. Shouldn't have gone to that guy. I think you got to give John Schneider a lot of credit for the way he handled everything this year. Were there mistakes made? Of course. Dave Roberts made mistakes.
Yeah.
Everyone is going to make mistakes. Schneider's not perfect, but I think he represents the team very well. I think he had them ready to play. Fundamentally, they were very strong. But in terms of Shapiro, Atkins, I think Shapiro is due for an extension. I think John Schneider's coming up for one soon, and I would anticipate they're both going to be here for quite some time. And Shapiro in particular, like, he was heavily involved in the renovations, getting the money for Dunedin and changing all the facilities down there. He's the guy who got here first. And, Game 7 of the World Series. Like, Mark Shapiro he doesn't match Masai Ujiri, which is a weird reference to make because Masai's not here anymore. And 5 years is what Masai got, and he won. I guess that's the answer, Noodles.
Yeah.
The guy who won got 5 years. That was what he got. So if you don't win, what does that mean? You got 3?
Yeah.
Is it a 2 or 3 year grace period for all these guys?
It's probably same. It's the same.
Yeah.
It's 5 years, right?
It might be.
Yeah.
It probably is for Shapiro. I get the impression like he's got a job for life almost if he wants it.
Yeah.
But, that'll be interesting to see, how people react to the offseason, what they can get done, how quickly it happens. They're 100 days away from showing up for spring training because it's November.
Yeah.
Like they played into November, and now they got to dust off and get ready to play again. Grapefruit League starts in like 102 days, or 110 days.
There'll be guys like blowing through that. Going like, hey.
There'll be load management happening.
Load management. Few guys may show up a little thicker than expected and have to work through it. All of that type of stuff. But, it's worth the run. Like you wake up today regardless.
Of course, you'll take it every time.
You'll take that run. You'll take the excitement, all of that. But it's. Again, living with somebody who grew up here, the gut punch, Hayes, you weren't at home. Oh, you were surrounded by family, I'm sure. But, seeing the emotion, all of that built up. And, I had my wife had a rally towel on her head in the ninth inning and didn't take it off till the end of the game. Like, I was looking over going, this is –
you'll never experience anything like it.
The emotional roller coaster of being up 3-1 and then going, okay, they chip away. And that, you could feel the Dodgers just chipping away.
Yeah, that's how they operate.
They just,
and the Jays had so many chances to pad their stats and put up more runs.
That's what
like
it was.
Dalton Varsho came up in Game 6 and 7. Every time he was up, it seemed like there were multiple guys on and guys in scoring position. And he could not cash any of them. Yeah. Like Varsho just could not give you one last big hit for his season. Yeah. And you're right. That's, I said it a lot. I've never seen this before. I've never experienced that before. This will never be replicated, clearly. The ups and downs of the series, the fact that they went through the Yankees, the Mariners, played the Dodgers, Shohei Otani, Yoshi Yamamoto, the nature of it. The 18-inning game in Game 3 is an all-time great moment. They lost that game. But it's unprecedented, heartbreak if you're a Toronto sports fan. It tops everything else. There's no other way to put it. You can't sugarcoat it. Doesn't mean you don't love the team. That's not putting the guys down or anything like that. It's just a reality that in the end, everyone thought they were going to win. You had to believe, wow, this is actually going to happen for the first time in 32 years. And now they're back at the starting line. And I don't know, hopefully it's not a 32-year gap, but it could be.
Dude, it's even a tough comment to listen to back at the starting line.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, it really is. It really, really is. But, hey, the Leafs got themselves a win last night, right? So, and that was another thing. I was walking down Bremner. Like, I took a different route, and I'm leaving the Dome, and, people are cleaning up, and, the atmosphere was it was heavy, like I was saying. It was a really kind of heavy vibe around the park. And even all the staff that work down there, it's a grind, a baseball season, man.
Yes.
And a playoff run. Like, they played 10 home games in, 4.5 weeks, whatever it was, 5 weeks. But all the staff down there, and everyone's engaged, and everyone's pulling for them. And then it's, these tearful goodbyes, and what a season, and we'll see you next year. And I'm leaving the Dome, and it's like 2:30 in the morning, and most people have scattered. And I actually see one of the Dodgers buses get like a police escort to whatever hotel they were going to. So I see that kind of go out, and it leaves. And as it turns left, like Scotiabank opens up, and I'm like, now it's the Leafs' turn.
Now you guys are on the clock.
Now the Leafs are on the clock.
You start paying attention now, right?
Exactly.
Like, I was. Obviously, you guys know me. I had the game on. I watched the Leaf game from start to finish as well, but obviously had the Jays game on. Mm-hmm. And I kept thinking they need to win this game regardless of what happens, just because they wake up today, they're on the clock.
On the clock.
They needed
Like,
to do
that's
what
really
they
what
did
it
last
was.
night. It was
Yeah.
convincing fashion, 5-2, and now we're ready to rock,
now
and there's
it's like-
nothing
Yes.
to see here.
Yeah.
Now
like,
the
that was
rallying cries
Now
head
it's
down the
like-
street to Scotiabank Arena.
You want to know what
Yeah.
kind of stupid random team I thought about a little bit during this World Series? It was the Angels. I was like, how did you have Otani and Prime Trout for all those years, and you did nothing?
Nothing.
And this guy just won back-to-back World Series. And you had Prime Trout for a bunch of those years.
Mm-hmm.
What were you doing? What were
It's-
you doing?
It's one of the more fascinating fumbles in sports history.
Oh,
It's as
It'll
much
be a
of
great
fumble.
dog.
They never
It will
made
be
the
a great dog.
playoffs,
It
though,
will be.
right? They
Not even,
wouldn't
they
make-
never made the playoffs together.
No. Oh,
There's
brutal.
a difference. You could understand if Otani and Trout made it to the final, deep into the playoffs, had some runs or something. There was feathers,
Nothing. Mike Trout's
for the-
played in 3 playoff games, and
which is crazy.
he lost all 3 of them. They made
Yeah.
it to the ALDS, and they got swept. Best 3 out of 5.
that
He's
is
never won a
crazy.
playoff game. And you look at Otani, just the vibe around Otani, and it's kind of a fascinating experience, like being in the press box, because for such an international event, I know it's a North American league and it's the World Series, but it's, world is a little bit liberal, right? It's
Right.
more about the U.S. and Canada. But the amount of Japanese media there, and as big as Sasaki is, and as big as Yamamoto is, this Otani cat is just a completely different beast. But even I was sitting right beside a couple of media members from Mexico, and they were up here effectively covering Alejandro Kirk, and it was pretty hilarious because the one guy was literally watching reality shows and FaceTiming people the whole game, and then Kirk would get up and he would dial right in. He'd get the video out, he'd lock in on Kirk. Kirk would pop out and he'd put his headphones right back in and press play on his reality show. And, this guy, it's only Kirk.
Yeah.
It didn't matter what else was going on. This guy was here to report on Alejandro Kirk, right? And then the Japanese media, of course, is still covering the game, but it was about the Japanese players. And I'm sure, every country that was represented around the world with a specific player, they were here kind of covering that
Right.
and kind of,
except the one guy that slept through the whole game.
Yeah.
except for that guy.
Was that
Yes.
game 1?
That was
What
game
it?
1. That guy was out like a light beside Hedge for 3 hours.
That guy had gotten on a bird that day.
I think
was
so.
up for 24 hours and got to the game and
Yep.
was exhausted.
Yep.
Right?
And I saw him yesterday. He had been down to the Jays shop and picked up a bunch of stuff. So happy. Ready to fly home wherever he's going.
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah.
Shohei, yeah, he that. He's an international star, and they got to him, right?
That's
what
the
was
thing.
what was the vibe, Brian? I saw Schneider pissed off that he was taking his time getting back out to the mound, right?
Which was
after-
valid. He the first inning. Now he gets to third base. I think it was. He gets on. He's running the bases, but he went into the dugout and was resetting. And there's a clock that counts down where the pitcher is supposed to have warmed up and you be ready. The batter's coming in. And it expired, and the ump still gave him a chance to go through his full routine warming up for the inning.
Yeah, I think the normal time's 2 minutes.
Yes, it's 2 or 3 minutes, and it expired before he even started throwing. And the ump made an exception for him. So Schneider came out naturally and said, hey, what's going on here? Knowing it's Otani, knowing they're going to give him leeway. It's Game 7 of the World Series, and this guy's pitching and hitting. There was no way they were doing anything to him. But then he did the same thing the second inning, I think it was, or the third inning.
Yeah.
He slow played it again, and Schneider, you could see him yelling. He's like, let's go here. This isn't fair, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But they weren't going to make it wasn't going to make a difference. But ultimately, you're right. It wasn't the Shohei Otani show. Game 3 was. Game 3 was a masterpiece, but they didn't lose because of Shohei Otani.
No, I remember. I think it was on this show asking you, Brian, like I said, because we were raving about him maybe 6 months ago, 8 months, whatever it was, saying at some point this guy could be hitting and pitching in a Game 7 of the World Series and dominate the way that he has been dominating. Because he did have what that was in his last series.
Yeah, against Milwaukee, Game 4, 3 home runs, 10, 11 strikeouts.
Which is one of the greatest performances of all time.
Yes.
And I kept thinking to myself, this guy might pull this off. And he didn't. He just didn't have, the Jays got to him. He didn't have his good stuff.
But that's another amazing thing about this, is that game was so crazy that Shohei starting on short rest is like story number 12.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what was going to make it so magical if the Jays won, is that Bichette hit the home run off Otani, and there was another picture, ice cold, of Bichette watching it go and Otani watching it go, just like Vladdy got him earlier in the series, just like Savage when he struck him out in Game 5. And ultimately those pictures, they still exist, but they don't have the same meaning. It's not the same meaning because Shohei got the last laugh. And that's, it didn't matter who was on the other team. If the Jays won, parades, people, millions of people into the streets, greatest experience ever for the rest of your life. You look back on it and just say, I can't believe we got to go through that. But it would have been a cherry on top, the fact that it was against the Dodgers and Shohei Otani. And Otani was on the mound. And ultimately they couldn't pull it off. All right, well, listen, we're going to be talking about this team for a long time, talking about this game and this series for a long, long time. And, credit the Jays. They had a great, great season. There's no other way to put it. They had a great, great season. They just fell short. Credit to the Dodgers. The Dodgers are champs, and they've done it again. But this was fun. Look at us. Yeah. Look at us on the fly here.
People.
Sunday morning.
The special edition reaction show on a Sunday morning. Yeah. I love it. Then we got Bills Chiefs coming up later this afternoon.
You look exhausted. I feel bad. I actually felt bad for you, Brian. You probably had 4 hours sleep last night.
Here's the thing. I was on the ice at 8 a.m. this morning
my God.
with my youngest. My wife tried to let me sleep. She came flying in, my youngest, threw an elbow drop like Jimmy Snuka and said, "You said you're coming." I rolled out of bed and was like, all right, I said I'd be there because I wasn't there yesterday, and I've missed a lot of hockey over the last month. Man.
Dad of the year, right?
Dad of the year. That's basically why I'm telling you the story. I want everyone to realize I'm such a great guy.
Well, then you can lay on the couch all day, in and out of consciousness.
Now my oldest has a game in about an hour and a half, so I'm back off to the rinks. We're playing Belleville today. It's a big game, a home and home. I was in Belleville yesterday. I drove to Belleville before the game.
Jesus.
And I'm tired. I'm exhausted, but I wouldn't have it any other way. It was a blast. It was so much fun to be down there. The last 6 weeks have been incredible. And we roll it over. Now it's for the Leafs. The Leafs and the Raptors to pick up the spirits of the city. I know it's going to happen. It has to happen. Yeah. All right, boys. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for coming in on a Sunday and helping us out, too. JP, Ryan, Joe, everyone behind the scenes. This will be podcasted online. You can find it wherever you download your podcast, tsn.ca, tsn1050.ca. We're going to get it up on YouTube Live if you want to listen to this or watch it. We've been streaming. We've been on the radio. We've been doing it all. It's been an awesome, awesome morning. It's too bad it wasn't a different result, but it is what it is, as they say. Yeah. Good stuff. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in this morning. TV, radio, podcast, web, and, of course, up on YouTube Live on TSN's YouTube channel. We're out of here. Enjoy your afternoons. Enjoy your evenings. We're back tomorrow at
4 p.m.
We'll chat then.